All right, welcome back. It is still VOP this morning, right here on Voice of the People Television. Let's get to the conversation proper. Well, in his cartoon critic, Senate Chief Whip Ali Ndume condemned President Bola Tinubu's administration, labeling it a regime of Kakistocrats and Kleptocrats. Ndume, a senator, member of the ruling All Progressive Congress, voiced his concern during an interview. Expressing disappointment in the government's direction, he claimed that the administration, initially built on the promise of a renewed hope agenda, is now run by the least qualified and most unscrupulous individuals, whose primary aim is personal enrichment. In response, a senior media aide to the President, Bola Tinubu, and that's Mr. Tokwe Ajayi, dismissed Ndume's criticism as unfounded. Well, Ajayi accused Ndume of being a notorious loose cannon with limited self-awareness, suggesting that his grievances are driven by personal ambition rather than genuine concern for the public. Interesting times. Well, we have with us in the studio to make sense of all of this conversation is Mr. Akin Fatuke, who is a communication consultant, an economist, and yes, one who is a big player in the oil and gas sector. And of course, with him, very close to him, is Barrister Darlington Agumo, both of who would be standing in today as a public affairs analyst to help us make sense of this conversation. Gentlemen, good morning again.
Good morning, David. Good morning.
Good to have you.
All right, let's get to this conversation. I'm going to start with Barrister. This statement by Senator Ali Ndume. First off, does this look like there is trouble in the waters right now of the APC?
Yeah, thank you, David. There will always be trouble if the right thing is not done. You don't need to be told that there will be trouble. I'm going to look at this matter from two ways.
Okay.
Now, Ali Ndume, fine. He made a genuine point. But my worry here is that, is it actually genuine? Because if you ask me, Buhari did worse thing, and the northern leader never criticized him. They were not this forthright in criticizing him. That is my worry. Our leaders or political leaders, they are never sincere whenever they want to talk. They play on the gullibility of the masses.
Ali Ndume was of the opinion that during Buhari's time, he can be easily accessible. People can walk on and talk to him and tell him what is happening in the country, unlike this present administration.
No,
don't you think that would be the reason he's
No, I don't think so. In fact, Buhari was even cordoned off more than Tinubu, because at that time, it was... who was running the government that time? It was his aides. Nobody had anything for Buhari. Hardly talk. Buhari hardly talk. Let us be sincere here. Nobody knew. In fact, Buhari said it that he did not know. I can't remember whatever they asked Buhari, and he said that I'm aware. Everything he did not know. Everything he did not know until the country almost collapsed under his watch. So why are northern leaders now making Tinubu look like as if he's the source of our problem? He may be the source, but he's not the only source. Let us call a spade here. I'm beginning to think that northern leaders are too selfish. Whenever they see a Southerner come to office, that's what they'll be doing. All the infamy Buhari committed in his 8 years, how come no northern leader stood up? They never stood up.
Mr. Ali Ndume also, the Senate Chief Whip said something now, Barrister. He says that even during the 1999 to 2007 Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, that he is easily accessible. But now that even ministers can't even access this president that we have in Nigeria.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Tinubu has been accessible. I know of many people he has been receiving, and if that's not the issue here, we are looking at governance.
Right.
We are looking at governance here. Tinubu is not doing well, actually. But Buhari, who laid the foundation for this rot? That's where we should start.
We also have the likes of...
The latter leader never criticized Buhari the way they are talking to Tinubu. I don't like it.
We have the likes of Lukman, who happens to be another senior member of APC, saying he's leaving the party because of the fact that there is nothing APC can actually get on a fair ground. Now, don't you think that some people who happen to be senior members of APC are beginning to, move away from...
My dear, don't be deceived. When you want to hang a dog, you give it a bad name. They are preparing ground for 2027.
Okay, you think it's politics?
It is politics. After all, Buhari did worse thing, for God's sake. We know what Buhari did in office.
So now, are you of the opinion, Barrister, that this present administration is aware of the untold hardship Nigerians are passing through, and yet nothing actually has been done about it?
Tinubu have acknowledged it, but he's hamstrung because there's no finance. I mean, Buhari messed up the economy, the treasury.
All right, Barrister.
The man is hamstrung. Nobody can really blame him, even though I'm not his fan. Let them call Buhari. Let us even run a check and see what Buhari did with our money and what Tinubu is doing now. Let us see who have done the work to this economy.
Let's have Mr. Akin into this conversation. What are the implications of these statements by Mr. Ali Ndume at this point?
Well, on a balance, we've seen movies like this before. It happens all the time. And in a house, you always have agreements, disagreements. When you are trying to compete to get the king's heart. It happened under Buhari, it happened under Jonathan. The Obasanjo that you mentioned, you always hear about kitchen cabinet, whatever that means. However, like Barrister is saying, I think a lot of this is mad in some politics. I'll give you 2-3 examples. The first one was the politics of the monetary policy that Cardoso was pursuing. When Cardoso came in and said that his focus is going to be on regulation and CBN should not double its hands in some kind of politics. And one of the things that was done, therefore, was that some of the agencies that had been relocated back into the northern part of Nigeria, because when you do the Pareto analysis, you see that more than 80-90% of the financial institutions are in commercial areas of Lagos, of course, maybe Abuja and Port Harcourt, and that it was going to relocate them back so that you can now then do the basic thing. Ali Ndume rose to say that that should not be. He cried wolf and said that Bola Tinubu's administration was undermining the North. And then the North now gathered and then took a decision. By the time you drilled deep, one of the things that is coming out in social media, I don't know how true that is that the likes of Senator Ndume and others have placed their children in specific places in some of these agencies. Now. Apart from placing their children in some of these agencies, one of the things is that they don't want them to come to Lagos, rather want to continue to be in Abuja. So that is one. Secondly, last week or thereabout, Barrister, you remember a situation where a minister that was serving in Buhari's government, Safia Yusuf, is it?
Yeah.
Humanitarian Affairs Minister, when a judge unilaterally, a young judge, I dare say, who just been appointed, Dipe Olu, made a landmark pronouncement that she has a case to answer, talking about trillions.
Oh, you're talking about Sadia Umar
Farouk.
Yeah.
And that she has a case to answer. Usually, like my brother Barrister is saying, when you begin to hear clouds, you begin to see rains. I think, again, those will be on those positive sides. But, however, Senator Ndume, one of the ranking senators that I think I know from Borno, yes, one of those senators that cannot go and live in Borno because of a lot of things that are going on, and who also I happen to know is the chairman, well, I still think, I'm not sure, has always been the chairman of the Senate Committee for the Armed Forces, whose people got together and unabashedly said they did not want the kind of control
that should come on. And then for you now to then come and be criticizing your party, okay, if it's a party affair, is there substance in what he's saying? Yes, there could be substance. Naturally, there can't be smoke without fire. There could be substance. Kakistocracy is what I don't know. I can't place my hand because it gives me the impression of khaki, military, whatever. But when you look at it, it's becoming a one-man soldier army. I don't know how far it is true. A couple of people are coming back to APC. I don't know if it is true. Crisscrossing.
But don't you think that's particularly because they want to get to the ruling party, which is what quite a number of senators have mentioned? In my
opinion, it's not democracy. If it's the other way around, you see APC people now moving in there. I mean, we're a bunch of serious people that are on. And if it goes on, one of the things that we are now then saying that you want unitary states, APC now captures it all in a situation where you will not have 100% knowledge and capacity to be able to do. This is now the time for us to be able to reach out. I, like Ningi, that happened, Abdul Ningi that happened, that just went out and started making statements. We must again begin to look at some of these things in results. May I say something on? Just before we came in, Barrister was asking me how was my weekend. One of the places I spent my weekend was at a hotel. There was a book launch by Aremo Shegun Oshoba. And in that book launch, you had the creme de la creme of politicians, irrespective of party. Labour Party, PDP, NMPP, including Ubasani was there, and Ndume too. They were all there. And one of the things that I heard from that angle is that irrespective of how things happen in this country, whether it's APC, PDP, LP, we must find a way to find the path. Shetima came to represent Tinubu at that event, and they still kept on talking about the fact that they are open to criticisms. So if we are open to criticism, I understand all that. Can we have a way to try and make sure we get into the inner chambers, look at the substantive things that are being said, and find a way to correct? I am also persuaded, maybe beyond his capacity and beyond the environment, that Mr. Bola Tinubu, as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, could do with some dose
he said something
of infusion
he said
outside his party.
He said something that is quite critical, and he did mention that this government is being run by least qualified and unscrupulous. I mean, he did give some words. Now,
yes.
Do you share his opinion about the fact that the least qualified is part of the people running the government? Now, that's one. Secondly, why then is the Senate not practically calling these people to order, because they also have the powers to do that?
That's it. So, I mean, if you say he's the least qualified, Barrister was making a point. He's not a fan of Bola Tinubu, but at the same time, he wants to be fair. The politics of this country is that we are not one, we are not together, and anytime power shifts, listen to what I want to say here. If that power shifted in a direction of, say, Labour Party, as an example, these people will still come out crying foul. And so the North.
You think this is about the North not having major powers?
It is about politics. Okay. I know that for sure. Now back to your point about least qualified. Maybe, maybe not, but I have one or two ministers that I can point to. I cannot call them ministers that are least qualified. Example would be the minister in charge of digital economy, and the minister in charge of interior. I would be hard pressed to say that these ministers are least qualified. Yes, I also think when you go to the other side of the Niger, he may not necessarily be very popular with my friends, my kids and kin from the East. I will be very reluctant to point at David Umahi and call him that he's not qualified. He may not be doing things that will be in a direction that you want, but to say that he's not qualified will be most uncertain.
Barrister?
Barrister will come in now, but then what does it mean for you to have qualified ministers? Those ministers must come from the north. They must populate.
You think that's where he's talking to?
It's not that I think, I know.
No.
So please, if you look at all those trajectories, part of some of the things that came is that they said the loss has not lost out, that some of the key ministries, they were not going to be a part of it. But put together, like I said, no smoke without fire. We need some dose of balancing with this present regime.
Now, Barrister Darlington, let's bring it back to the table of why we're having this issue being discussed now. The Senate Chief Whip was of the opinion that even the food insecurity crisis is on the rise. And he also pointed out that what United Nations and World Food Program and Action Against Hunger currently talked. They rank Nigeria to be, among the topmost countries that are having hunger issues. Breaking it back now, if you think that this government or this present administration is practicing full inclusion, don't you think that Ndume will also have idea that on the 4th of July 2024, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated the Presidential Economic Coordination Council, PECC, and also launched the Economic Stabilization Program to ensure food security, improve power supply, and even welfare of Nigerians. And not just that also, because according to Ajay, he made mention of so many things. He said President even move ahead as taking out duty-free on importation of food to make sure that we're able to, crash down the food price in Nigeria and all that.
It is a shame when you hear Northerners talking of food insecurity. A very big shame. I'm telling you, they are gaslighting the rest of us. If anybody should complain of food insecurity, it shouldn't be the North because they have the land mass.
Why do you think it shouldn't be the North?
I said they have the land mass. 2, they brought this insecurity into Nigeria for their own selfish interest. That is a fact. They have said it openly. They are not hiding it.
Barrister, some quarters have also said that the president is the one at the helm of affairs. He should be able to have practically be decisive about the issue of insecurity. Don't you think that's another reason why Ndume at this point is really being vocal?
Are you serious? That means you don't even know the politics of this country.
Tell us.
When Jonathan saw that Boko Haram are even in his cabinet and they are sabotaging his effort to clear Boko Haram, what did he do? He went outside and brought a certain Ihejirika who has retired and gave him a marching order. Ihejirika gave Boko Haram hell. He was chasing them bumper to bumper. He chased them. It was during the time that we knew what is called Sambisa Forest. Ihejirika chased them into Sambisa Forest. What did they not do? They started writing memo. Yeah, Jonathan want to finish the North. They want to revenge what they did to them during the Biafran War. This and that. They started writing to the international community that Jonathan is committing genocide. Because of the hoopla that thing generated, Jonathan had to withdraw Ihejirika and retire him back. Immediately, these people came back in full force. Is that not what happened in this country?
We have names of people who are financing insecurity.
Good, hold on, I'm coming to that. The 400 that they gave you from outside here that are financing this thing, where are they from? Please, can they open that list? Let us know who is doing what in Nigeria.
But so talking about the 14 names now that we have now on the table of this present administration to say that these are the financiers of this terrorism act happening in Nigeria.
I am telling
Why haven't this present administration called them?
If those names were populated by Femi, Dakpo, or Bukola, or Emeka, or Chukuma, they would have published those names that day. You wouldn't even beg them to publish. They would have told you, look at these people, they want to destroy Nigeria. But because it is them, the same people, who went to the Sahel to bring terrorists into this country, they don't want to publish those names because it will affect them. Hold on. Did you remember that Emefiele was accused of sponsoring terrorism. That was the first charge against him by DSS, even when Buhari was in office. But when they discovered that if they pursue this matter, it will affect some of their own, that Emefiele is going to talk, they dropped it. Even Buhari told them not to talk to Emefiele. There was a presidential order given to DSS not to disturb Emefiele. It happened in this country. So why didn't they pursue that matter? Take Emefiele to court for terrorism financing. And let me see how Emefiele will be the sole financier of terrorism in Nigeria without any names attached. Without somebody telling him to take money to somewhere or give money to these people. They dropped it because they know it will open them up. Nice. This is what we are talking about. I don't know. You see, I am not very happy that we in the South, we have sold our rights. The type of arrogance and impunity did not displace whenever there is a new government. I don't like it. I don't. We saw what Buhari did here in Nigeria. We saw what he did. For 8 years, he was acting like the Lord of the Manor. Doing things as if there was nobody that matters. Look at how he was collecting money from CBN. Up to 23 trillion naira. The North never said anything about it. Mention any president in the history of this country that have done that. I mean, openly collecting money. And he told us himself when he was going that, look, you people should go and I collected this money from CBN. You people should put it in your national budget and pay it off. There was no appropriation. There was no authorization. He just did it on his own. And we never knew until when he was leaving office.
What do you think is the reason why this present government is not even talking to that situation that you just mentioned?
It is because I have told you here, we have surrendered our right to the North. And they believe that it is their right to do whatever they like in governance.
How do you mean, Barrister?
That is it. Now, when some of them wrote that they are born to rule, was it not the logo of Sokoto?
So where does that leave us with the constitution that we have in Nigeria as amended in 1999?
Are you serious? Who told you they are working with your constitution?
Don't you even know that all
look at that
constitution?
That constitution is characterized by, half of it is characterized by northern Muslim tradition and culture.
We have so many people from other regions. We have the likes of Olusegun Obasanjo. We have the likes of Goodluck Jonathan being president of this country after that constitution was amended in 1999. Why didn't they do anything to be able to rectify the clauses?
I have told you here, they believe that they have the power to do whatever, they have the population. They will decide who will be governor or who will be president because of their population. Didn't you hear what they told you, Tinubu? That they are the one that brought him to office with their vote, 65%. These are some of the arrogance I don't understand. But in reality, is it true? The answer is no. Because we have not done a correct census. I told you here, when Jonathan brought Ndume, the man from 33 Brewery, to go and do a proper census for Nigeria.
Nigerian breweries.
The man went all over the place to go and gather data on how to do modern census, accurate, at least 99% accurate. He came here and said, look, the last census they did was a fraud. That what he saw on the shelf was a fraud. And he's going to give Nigeria a correct census. Because of that singular statement, Kwak Wanso from Kano, he was the governor then. He drove himself to Aso Rock and called Jonathan and said, come, you see this man you said is your chairman of NPC, National Population Commission. Remove him from office if you want second term. The man is talking too much. Maybe he had taken too much beer. Remove him. That was it. And Jonathan obeyed them.
So
at the end of the day,
why point fingers to people where we are the architects?
You didn't hear the condition. If you want second term, at the end of the day, they did not give the Jonathan second term, and the man did not carry out the assignment.
So does this look like a distorting of program for President Tinubu's second term in office?
There is no, these people, I don't know their mindset too. What I've been saying is that, go and check. The progress of this country is not in the mind of some people. It is their own selfish interest that they want.
All right.
That is why somebody who loves Nigeria can go outside and say terrorists should come inside here. What does that tell you? It's not a treasonable felony. Terrorists, they are not even shivering about it. One of them even threatened Tinubu'S wife. Can you just imagine? What kind of arrogance is that? Told her that God told him that he should go and kill her, that she's an infidel. Who told you? How do you define an infidel? Where did the God talk to you to do that? These are some of the things that I wanted the Tinubu to do, but he's not doing it. I don't know whether he's afraid or something. Tinubu did not even say a word. Your own wife. Your own wife in that manner. Look, If you try with another Iboma like me, if I don't carry gun, I'll carry cutlass. You will tell me where I go. I'll say, God equally told me to come and meet you.
Now,
Or you say me.
the question would now be, why is the presidency not doing anything
concerning
this?
I have just told you here. They believe it is their right, and you and I have showed it to them that we cannot do anything.
So we should stop crying over a dispute mix.
That was some of us are crying because it has not helped us. We are not moving forward. I don't like cowardice. When men are supposed to stand up and they will be shivering.
Mr. Akin,
It's because of we have done it over the years and allowed these people to do. Look at who are the people that surrounded this country today. Who are the people that inside our bushes? Are they the Igbos or are they Yorubas? Where are they from? Who are those people that surrounded this country? Raping women in their farmland. Who are those people? And you everybody saw it and we kept quiet. Because you want one. Are you getting one Nigeria now? No, are you getting one Nigeria? Why some people just arrogantly, without even thinking that there are other tribes here, let us respect their views. So you don't do whatever you like and talk anyhow you like.
Mr. Akin Fatinke, we've pointed out the challenges we're having in Nigeria as regards the state of the nation and the economy, how it's being run. As an economist now, we want you to, chime in your voice on what do you think we really need to do to make sure that Nigeria's economy, keep on moving? Because we saw on one of the headlines saying that the spending capacity of Nigerians is low.
Restructure Nigeria. Nigeria is not working. The barrister spoke the minds of progressive Nigerians. On this table, and this discussion has nothing to do with partisanship, has something to do with the soul of the nation.
I'm telling you.
I will only extend it that it's not just happening. It's been all over the place. And until we take a decision that we have to restructure, get ourselves back in shape and online,
it's restructuring Nigeria easy.
We are not going to be able to get.
It is more than easy. It's not the political will. It's more than easy.
Now, I also want to tell you, even though you may take or you may not want to take, in alignment with what he said, when Mr. Peter Obi started his moves around, okay, let's begin to look at 2027. Where is he visiting more?
They're not.
He's visiting the north. He's trying to put in whatever it is.
So that you can be accepted.
Because that block, fairly or unfairly, depending on how you stand, takes a determination on who rules Nigeria.
I'm telling you.
So if you look at it, is it from population? I don't know, population that is not scientific? Or is it from some of the mistakes that many of us in the South continues to make, and we are still making that mistake?
Mr. Akin, you continue your thought. You said, is it on population? From the last election, is it not visible that this is about population? That's the reason why some politicians, particularly Peter Obi that you mentioned, is visiting the north.
I do not know about we having a population that I can beat my chest that we have. We have not conducted population. Try and put it across that you want to do a population today. You begin to see a lot of motion without movement. And that is the truth. And this has been implanted.
To add to what you're saying, if truly they want a true population to be conducted, will Kwakwanso do what he did? So, have you ever heard where the desert region is more populated than the swampy area of the south?
So don't you think it is the docility of those people who happen to be in the south as regards getting involved in politics that made them to be that way?
The jury is out.
Okay.
Harold Smith came out and told us how the whole thing was manipulated around 1960.
Exactly.
We all know about a lot of some of the things that are happening.
Harold Smith, I have his interview.
The constitution that we are talking about, that you want me to make a comment about the economy that is seriously robbed, that if you make a mannequin and if I make a hero beer and I decide I'm going to sell it in my environment and then take it up north, If it gets to the north, it's going to be destroyed. But the VAT on it, they will take the larger chunk
of it.
So, when I say to you that Nigeria is not working, we haven't seen men, sunborn, suntan, who will be able to look at situations and call it exactly as it is, back to where we are at right now. To fix Nigeria, it's not that it's impossible, but it's going to take a lot of tasks. One of it will be that Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today must not be talking about second term, must not be looking at second term. It is not a question of second term. Go ahead, go out there and fix. This same president in Lagos did something, in my mind, that we all thought was not going to be possible. When he went on, you see what happened in the Oshodi thing, played the politics well, and made sure that at least we're able to get all the stakeholders together. What this president should be gunning for is not a second term thing. As a matter of fact,
so
again,
what should he be gunning for?
If one man that I also admire, because I know him personally, that's by the way, maybe I'm allowing that to come out, Mr. Gregory Obi should have succeeded to be president of this country. And we are going to want to rectify Nigeria. It's not going to be second term that will be his focus. Go out there, reshape and rejig, and make sure that you do what is right. Now, Bola Tinubu, it's not also true that the present administration is not doing a few things coming up. And they are already saying it that you are taking empowerment away from a particular bloc. And it's the reason why you are having all this shout and shout. So, you better have all this shout and let it be more of a legacy. You do not need to have a second term to take hard decisions. Can you be bold enough to look at the confirm that you yourself rejected with your mouth and with whatever it is that you do? Can we begin to look at that? You are already taking some bold forms. In my mind, the local government administration thing that is the Supreme Court, I think that is relatively bold. It is the implementation of it that you should be looking at. We are also talking again about whether you have state police or no state police, depending on where you are.
All right, in one sentence, because of time, in this conversation, is there the possibility that this present administration has anything close to political will in getting it right? In one sentence, before we get to the next conversation.
Well, the political will now be the movement that I see after his first year, going into the second year, and I've told you what I don't want to continue to see. Should be bold, should be inclusive. Should also include, even though you are not, I say it all the time, but I'm pleading, I am not forcing.
Right.
That Nnamdi Kanu should be released. You see, should be released. I said, there should be a political solution and it should be done as fast as possible. Because we want a cohesion, so all of us can all sit around the table, take a decision. If you all want to go and drift apart, so be it, and then we take a decision on what we are going to be putting in the center. Okay. That political will to do that is very, very important.
Barrister, in 1 minute, would you also say that this present administration, aside the fact that they've been getting some of these kickbacks from the northern politicians, do you also think that there is the political will of this administration to do better as the time goes on?
You see, the way Tinubu came into office and the baggages he's carrying, I think that is what is affecting him. He will not be too bold to carry a certain decision because somebody is going to pull strings somewhere. And that will affect his ego and his intentions. But let me tell you, there is one solution. You see the problem we have now, which we know who created it and those who created it. We don't need to start begging or pleading. No. Let us be united here, because every time you hear Northern Governors Forum, Northern Leaders Forum, they all come together, even under Buhari, and they take decision on what they want to do, and they will do it. Have you ever come together here? Have you ever had when the Southwest, Southeast, and South came together and took a decision? Have you ever? That is the problem. If we can do that, let me tell you one example. During the Abdul Salami transitional program, AD was nowhere. They wanted to join the political train after they came out from Nadeko fight and June 12 and all that. Abdul Salami said, look, if you don't have offices as stipulated in the electoral law, you will not participate in this election. No. AD told them under Adesanyo, Abraham Adesanyo. Yes, he told him, look, if the Southwest did not take part, AP did not take part in this election, we are pulling out. The Southwest is going. Abdul Salami saw the handwriting on the wall. 2 days to the time, he saw, yeah, let them go. Let them enter the race. Without anything, no money, nothing, no office. He had to allow them because he has seen the handwriting on the wall. Already the Southeast, we are already going for our New Yam Festival. I don't think we were even coming back. That means it will have lasted for centuries. So the man saw that Nigeria is slipping out of their hand. That's why they say, okay, you people should join the race. Can you imagine? So why can't you come together and say, look, you people have done this, you have done this. I remember under Buhari, elder statesmen in this country, they charged Buhari to court. They sued him for 50 billion naira and listed all the problems Buhari have created. The man that is late now, he was the leader of that thing, even Edwin Clark, the man from Yoruba land, the man I respect so much. He was part of those people. They sued Buhari and listed all the problems he created. They didn't mean what. They sued him to court. Maybe because of immunity, nobody said anything about it. So why can't you here unite? Every time they not together and be imposing themselves on all of us. Why? Why? And it's not as if it's moving the country forward. No, it's about their selfish interests. Selfish interests every time. It has to be, okay, you have been in power for almost 48 years. Out of 64 years of Nigerian independence, what have you achieved?
Oh, well.
Okay.
What have you achieved?
Well, thank you so very much, Barrister. We would have to continue this conversation as we dive into the next topic. Well, interestingly, the House organization advises Kingsmen against joining Fulani organized protests against President Tinubu. Reminds, of course, the youth such was forbidden under Buhari. Well, details of this when we return. Stay with us.